guys, if you are new here, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Today's video is proudly sponsored by VENDOO. So what I'm going to do today is tell you all about VENDOO and the services that they offer that can help us as resellers increase our productivity. I'll let you know why it may be worth you taking a peek and seeing if their services would suit you and your reselling business, whether you're part-time, full-time, a small-time seller, or a big-scale seller. There may be something in there for you. And I'm also going to let you guys know how I have married their services to my own personal workflow and in turn made life way easier for myself when it comes to my reselling business. So real quick, I'm going to start with an overview of the features of VENDOO. There's a lot that they offer, so I'll be sure to take you through each one and show you what I'm doing on the computer at the same time. I'm going to try and do some screen shares with you so you can see exactly how user-friendly VENDOO is. Like I said, while I'm going to give you like the overview of everything that they do offer, because there's plenty in there I'm sure that would appeal to some people that doesn't quite work for my business model and vice versa, I'm really going to hone in on this video on the things that I have been able to utilize to make life so much easier for myself as a part-time reseller who's balancing life and home and things like that, who's wanting to increase productivity without putting in too many more hours per day, because quite frankly, who hasn't? So let's start with the basics. VENDOO works with 8 marketplaces currently. That is Poshmark, eBay, Etsy, Grailed, Mercari, Depop, Kidizen, and Tradesy. I got them all, I can't believe it. They actually added 4 of those in just the last 3 months, and they're currently working on more too, so definitely something to stay tuned to. In a nutshell, VENDOO is a cross-posting software. They've created a product that makes cross-posting from one platform to another or to multiple platforms way easier, way more efficient, and in a way that you can control all of those listings from a central hub, which if you are somebody who lists on multiple platforms, straight away I think you're going to know that that is something that sounds really valuable. Now for me personally, I sell on eBay and then I cross-post to Poshmark, and then I say that I cross-post to Etsy and Mercari, but I usually fall flat on those, I'll be honest. I have a very good workflow going right now with eBay being my foundational listing, if you like, and then I immediately cross-post to Poshmark with just a copy and paste on my phone because it takes 2 seconds. For whatever reason, I have a hard time branching out from my initial 2 platforms, and Etsy sometimes does take just a little bit more work, and so I don't often get around to importing a lot of that information, and that is where VENDOO can step in and help. Full disclosure as well, I have been using VENDOO for a while now, so I am speaking from experience. I'm not just saying the company lines. I have been using this product, and I can tell you that it has increased my workflow by a whole bunch, and it's also made life way easier for me as well when it comes to cross-posting. It's something that I don't neglect now because it's been so simplified through the VENDOO software. Obviously, the biggest benefit to cross-posting on multiple platforms is that you can increase your sales. You increase your exposure to more potential buyers out there on the internet, and therefore your sales can hopefully go up. And that is what I am starting to see already using VENDOO. I will say as well that once you get used to using VENDOO, that workflow again, that kind of process kicks in. Just like it does for me listing on eBay or Poshmark on my phone, I can almost do it just by muscle memory at this point. Well, that's kind of kicked in for me now with VENDOO as well. So it's really integrated itself organically as a process for me. Just when I'm listing a new item, it just kind of follows suit, and it's fitting really nicely with the way that I like to run my business and put up my listings every day. Also, the fact that they always are bringing out new marketplaces and trying to keep up with the markets and things like that, bringing in new platforms, I think is really valuable and should not be overlooked, because that really takes away the excuse for not trying new things with your business. And the fact that it's all there together and you could branch out and just try a few things without it being super difficult, I think is really something to be paid attention to. We all know that diversification is really important in this business, whether it's what you're selling or it's where you're selling it. So making sure that you have a cross-posting software that can keep up with that really matters. So the first thing that I really want to touch on as being a pro for VENDOO is how user-friendly the whole thing is. The interface is user-friendly, it's very intuitive, and it's set up in a way that makes it really easy to kind of do one listing straight after the other. And like I said, really get that kind of bulk workflow going, which I know that I personally really rely on when it comes to listing a lot of things per day. Now, when it comes to their pricing model, there are certain add-ons that you can have in addition to your plan. And I'm going to touch on some of those features right now, just so you know everything that VENDOO can do. The first one is a feature that I would completely recommend only because I use it so heavily myself. Again, it differs by business model, but for me, this is an absolute must-have. What I'm talking about is the import feature. So what you can do is you can import your existing listings, oh, that's a mouthful, from one platform, and then you can go ahead and cross-post it to multiple platforms using that initial listing that you sort of pulled all of your information. Think of it like a foundation listing that you're able to import in and then just take all that information and spread it out all over multiple platforms to get that item so much exposure across different marketplaces. The reason I'm so fond of this is because I have fallen so incredibly far behind on cross-posting. I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I like to cross-post to Etsy and Mercari, but I, for whatever reason, don't do it very well. I don't do it every single time I list, and so I fall out of the habit of it, and I tell myself that I'm gonna sit down for like an hour or two every week, and I'm gonna cross-post those platforms. Do I heck? So what Vendo allows me to do is import those listings that I have been procrastinating on for forever and super quickly use that information that is popping up when I import it and just kind of like push it out to different platforms. There's no dragging photos from my desktop to different platforms. There's no going back into eBay to double check what my shipping weight was so that I can reflect it in calculated shipping, because that's something that I have to do all the time when I'm cross-posting. All of that information comes straight through from the initial listing and it's ready to go. You can actually import up to 20 items at a time as well. So if you are wanting to sit down with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and just get a few of those cross-posting listings out of the way, then again, that's something where you could set yourself a goal of 10 to 20. You could import them all, get them done, boom, 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 because like I said, super easy to use interface where it's just really easy to streamline that workflow and you're done. Another thing worth mentioning is Vendo's delist and relist feature. It does what it says on the tin. As I said, you have your central listings, like your foundational listings on Vendo. They spoke all out to all these different marketplaces and you can control them from this one place from Vendo. If something sells on one marketplace, you can hop straight on and you can unlist it from all of those marketplaces. Or if you want to kill the listing, rework it, refresh it, and make it live on all platforms again, you can totally do that from Vendo as well. Again, the word that comes to mind is streamlined, and that is what I need personally in my particular working environment. What you can do with this feature as well is, say you have a listing on eBay, but it's cross-posted to multiple marketplaces. If it sells on eBay, you just go straight into Vendo and you mark it as sold on eBay, and it will automatically delist that item from all of the other marketplaces. So again, super easy to use. The last feature that I really want to touch on, it's the chat widget that comes with the website. I'm only going to mention this because I used it personally when I first started. I had a few small hiccups that I really needed somebody to kind of talk me through just how to use the site and use the software to the best of its ability, and they were awesome. Again, this is completely like personal anecdotal experience, but I was really fond of having that. They came online in less than a minute. We live in an age where, or at least I do now, where I much prefer to be able to type in live chat with someone and ask my questions rather than having to pick up the phone. That's just how I like to work. It's easier with little people running around and things like that. And like I said, less than a minute, they were online, they were helping me. Their answers were so to the point and yet really in depth in terms of like being able to explain exactly how and why things function. And I really appreciated that because I came away not only with the answer to my question, but really kind of understanding a little bit more about how the software was intended to be used, and that way I could kind of adapt how I was using it, and things have just got better from there. So if you like being able to have that kind of like almost immediate chat support, then that's definitely something to consider with this particular software. Okay, so now I've told you everything that Vendo can do, I'm going to tell you all about how I've been using it and what I actually think. Full disclosure, this is a sponsored video, like I told you at the beginning, sponsored by Vendo, but this is all my 100% honest anecdotal, my experience, my opinion. So take it for what you will, but I will be honest and I will be more than happy to answer your questions in the comments as well. So the first thing that I really wanted to touch on before I kind of went into the nitty gritty was, has it made a difference to me so far? And the answer to that is a resounding yes. I personally really like this software. I have certain like black holes in my business where I will procrastinate, and one of those is cross-posting, very much so, specifically to, like I said, Etsy and Mercari. I tell myself that I'll do it and I just don't. Poshmark's very simple for me. I like to start on eBay. That's the way I've always done it. I literally copy and paste and put my photo straight onto Poshmark all in one go. That's a process that I'm used to, but I want to sell on more marketplace. And in order to do that, I really needed something that would make things just a little bit easier for me, a little bit easier to handle, a little bit more streamlined. And that is what Vendo has done for me so far. So in terms of personal process, like I said, I start on eBay. I call that my foundation listing because eBay, with all the item specific and the length of the title and the amount of photos and the sizing of the photos, it just pretty much fits anywhere in my opinion. So I start there. Now on Vendo, I will say that you can create a listing literally on Vendo and then you can cross post it from there. That's not something I have a lot of experience with, but obviously I want to let you guys know that you can do that. You can create from scratch on the Vendo software. However, I really like to list from my phone. I take my pictures while my kids are playing and then I sit with them in quiet time and I list from my phone or when they're going to bed or whatever. It's just how it works for me right now in this particular season of life. And so I'm not really willing to give that up and go 100% to desktop right now. But again, it goes to show that this software really can fit in with whatever you have going on with the listing process right now. So what I've really been doing over the last couple of weeks is taking a bunch of those listings, remember 20 at a time is what you can import, and all of those things I procrastinated on, but I've known that I wanted to cross-post. So for instance, everything that has vintage in the title that I have not cross-posted to Etsy or Mercari, because things sell there too, you know, or Grailed if it's, you know, a cool vintage item. There's so much opportunity there. What I'll do is I will search under eBay on my Vendo dashboard, if you like, and they'll come up, I'll select 20, I'll import them, and I will go ahead and I will cross-post those onto Etsy and onto Mercari as well. Word to the wise, when you import those, it's not going to tell you that that item is cross-posted on Poshmark already if you have, because the URL is going to be different. But what you can do is go in and manually mark that as listed on Poshmark. That way you don't get confused later on. I would definitely recommend doing that and just kind of keeping yourself up to date. So again, your dashboard on Vendo can be kind of like your central hub powerhouse of cross-posting. Now, when it comes to the different marketplaces, there's obviously going to be different requirements, and Vendo can't do all of the magic because if it's not there already in your eBay listing, they can't just pull it out of nowhere. So there are certain things that you do have to add. For instance, Etsy needs some characters added to the title so that you have a longer title and more keywords in there. Same goes for tags on Etsy as well. You can add those in. You have up to 13. I will say Vendo, very intuitive, because it will let you know as you're typing those tags if you've gone over the amount of characters or the amount of tags, so you're not wasting your time adding them all in. So props to Vendo for making sure that that is something that is easy to work with. Everything else, the photos, the shipping, a lot of like the specifics, the description, obviously the basics of the title, all of that gets moved over and you can just kind of like add and subtract where you need to. But again, really super simple and very easy to do. As I mentioned before, at this point, it's very kind of muscle memory for me. I can do it sort of on autopilot, but that is something that I really, really like. That's something that's important in a process for me because I need to just be able to get it done quick as I can. One other thing that I do want to mention right now on Etsy is if you are fond of calculated shipping as a shipping profile on Etsy, that is what I do. I sell all kinds of weird odds and ends and everything weighs different. And I don't have a flat rate shipping rate on there because everything is different dimensions, different weights. Unless it goes in a padded flat rate mailer, I do have that shipping profile in there and that works fine. But unfortunately, they're not able to do the calculated shipping right now. So what I've figured out as a workaround for that is I am able to fill everything out. I personally changed my renewal to manual and not automatic. That's also an option right there on Vendo. And then what I do is there's an option to save it on Etsy as either a live listing or as a draft. And I have chosen to save them as a draft. I go immediately into Etsy. It's right there. It's pretty much instantaneous. I go into my draft and I go ahead and just click the calculated shipping profile. It's that easy, it's literally that easy. What that also gives you the opportunity to do is also put it into whichever category in your store that you would like. That's not something right now that is happening on Vendo, though I hear that they may be working on that. But again, that's one click of a button and it's not something that truly matters in the overall scheme of the listing, but it is something that I like to do just to keep my stores kind of organized. So just a little bit of advice right there. I mentioned it earlier in the video though, and I'm really, really happy that things things like the actual shipping weight and the dimensions come through from eBay, from my like foundational listing that I like to call it, through to all of the different platforms. Now, if you're listing from Poshmark, you're not going to have that because you don't put shipping weight and dimensions into Poshmark. So bear that in mind. But I love that it's something that transferred and I don't have to go into my eBay listing, you know, click revise, scroll down, look at what I put for the weight, put that into Etsy, which is something I had to do every single time I wanted to cross post on Etsy. And honestly, it was really frustrating and maybe one of the reasons why I procrastinated so much on cross posting. Who knows? So has it helped? Would I recommend Vendo? Yes, it's a resounding yes from me. Obviously, it depends on how you prefer to work. Like I said, everybody's business model, everybody's workflow is completely different, but I think that there are enough features there that it is worth giving it a try just to see if it can up your productivity. For me, it's all about having exposure on multiple platforms. For a while there, all I did was eBay, and then I branched out to Poshmark and Etsy, and now I'm trying Mercari as well, and I'm finding, you know, I'm having sales on all these platforms, and as we all know, it all adds up at the end of the day. And that's something that into 2021 I really want to pursue, is diversifying not just what I'm selling, because I've moved into hard goods now and my sales have gone through the roof for me personally once I diversified away from just clothes and into hard goods. Logically, I want to do that with my marketplaces as well, so I'm branching out, and Vendo is the perfect way to give that a try. So as an overview, I love the speed element for this and I love the ease of use. I love that it is distraction friendly. I live a very distracting life. You don't know, I am a homeschool mother to 3 young boys, and it's 2020 and all of the things, and I have this business and I have the YouTube channel and all this kind of stuff, so I am busy a lot of the time, and I need to be able to get up and walk away from one job to go see to something else all the live long day. And that's what I like about Vendo. I can literally get up, I can walk away from it, and I can come back 2 hours later and pick up exactly where I was. It's so simple to use that I'm not lost and thinking, oh, what was I doing or whatever else. It shows it all right there on the dashboard. I know where I've cross posted to, I know where it's live. Really, really simple, and I like that. That works for my lifestyle. And lastly, increasing sales, because so far it seems to be working. I'm going to be following up on this video for the next 4 weeks. I'm going to let you know exactly how I find Vendo over that period of time. I'm going to let you know like the items that I have sold that I attribute to cross posting, and I'm going to let you know just how I feel about it towards the end of that 4 weeks, and if it is still fitting well into my workflow, and if it's still something that I recommend. So if you're interested in seeing it work for the long term, stick around. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Like I said, if you have any questions at all, please pop them down below in the comments. I'm more than happy to come and let you know what I know or give you my honest opinion. And of course, I will be linking Vendo down below so that you can go ahead and check it out for yourself as well and see if it's something that might be a good fit for you and your reselling business. That being said, if you sign up using the link down below in the description, then you do get 25% off your first month with Vendo. So that might be a great way to give it a try to see if it enhances your work life as well. All right, you guys, thank you again. I will catch you in the next one, and I'll talk to you soon.